stewards in New York State.
Welcome to the Stakes Preview. Seth, Merrow, Mike Callahan, brought to you by CapitalOTVBet.com. Mike, welcome.
Welcome. How's it going?
Very good. You and I last week took a look at the stakes down at Aqueduct, and just to kind of remind ourselves there, I like 10 for 10 in the Remsen. I thought I was home free, but Brooklyn Strong, who's going to turn out to be a nice story. Yeah, second year in a row, we've got a nice little New York 2-year-old. New York bred 2-year-old
for a low price, right? If I remember,
$5,000, and the year after Tis the Law was a nice 3-year-old. We'll have a nice 3-year-old coming up, you would think, with Brooklyn Strong. That was a nice effort from that one, and got a 93 buyer in the Remsen. So a solid performance. Like I say, I was a little disappointed that my 10 for 10 didn't get it done. Looked pretty good, but I think both of those will be worth watching going forward. Sharp Star, yet another New York bred, gets it done. So the New York bred program got a nice boost on Cigar Mile Day. Sharp Star got it done in the Go for Juan. Nota Madeline was my choice. I thought she was kind of the class of the field, but Sharp Star had that one big number, and you had that. Was she going to validate or not? She did.
The bounce theory was in play. I like Sharp Star. I actually like Sharp Star, and I mentioned it on the show last week if you were watching. Kind of fell in love with the horse, with the maiden breaker at Belmont. Raced up at Saratoga. It was sort of a race that was, you wanted to be on the lead. She came from out of it, and she validated that 101 buyer, with that 96, with that winning performance last Saturday.
Yeah, it was a nice run for Sharp Star. Portal Creek was a horse that I talked a little bit about last week and thought was maybe interesting for Marshall Graham, and at 7-1, that one completed the exact. In the Demoiselle, you and I were talking before we went on the air. Oh, Millfield.
We were both on the Millfield bandwagon, and to be honest, there's zero ways to look at it other than she just got caught.
Yeah, because Malathat was just kind of struggling, it seemed like, as the 40
was all in around the far turn. You go back, watch the replay of that race. They went to a couple left hands to get the horse to wake up, but when there was clear sailing in the end, really had a nice stride at the end. Malathat's going to be a one to recognize going into 2021.
Yeah, all of that said, Malathat, though, comes up with a 76 buyer, so the buyer was a little bit light. And the girls compared to the boys, Malathat 152.36, Brooklyn Strong 150.60. He gets the 93 buyer, she gets the 76. But yeah, I think these are and Malibu Curl was an all Curlin sired triple in there. John Velasquez on board, and we didn't mention Horatio De Paz training Sharp Star. I think that was his first graded stakes victory. And Danny Velasquez, nice weekend for a guy based, I think, down at Parks is where he's normally based, or maybe over Delaware, Wintertime Parks. But he wins this race on Saturday, and then won one of the New York Saturday Stakes on Sunday as well. And they say Brooklyn Strong are going to bring to Parks this winter and kind of decide where to go. Stick up here and go to New York, or maybe go down to, because the owner's down in Florida, and the owner's kind of saying, yeah, I kind of like to see him down in Florida, but I'm going to listen to what the trainer has to say. So we'll see where Brooklyn Strong kind of kicks off the 3-year-old season. And the highlight of the day, I say highlight because it was on paper, but maybe it fell apart a little bit when Performer at 4-5 really didn't do a whole lot and couldn't even get past Snapper Sinclair in the stretch when you thought at least Performer will get second. No, Performer winds up third behind Snapper Sinclair. The winner, however, good story there. True Timber, who third try at the Cigar Mile, finally gets it done under Kendrick Carmouche. That was Kendrick Carmouche's
first grade one.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to surprise a lot of people because Kendrick's been a prominent name wherever he goes, but obviously on the Naira circuit where he runs, on a yearly basis. But True Timber was a horse that I showed on the stakes preview. Liked the surface. I guess you could say if you had an excuse for Performer, maybe it was just that the surface wasn't to Performer's liking, because certainly after the comeback effort that we saw, didn't live up to that performance. So maybe they'll go back, sort of figure out what happened, and I would have to believe on a faster, drier track that Performer would put in a much better effort. So, it could have just been the surface.
Yeah, it's not, you can't make a decision on one race, particularly given what he'd done earlier in the career. True Timber winds up with a 99 buyer, and again, it was the first grade one for Kendrick Carmouche.
Did it quite easily. True Timber is a horse who likes to finish underneath, but pretty dominant performance.
At 7-1. So Kendrick Carmouche, not only the first grade one, but on Sunday he wrapped up his first NYRA meet title. He got the fall meet aqueduct title along with on the trainer side. It was Christophe Clement getting the title as well. So congratulations to those two getting it done. And again, that was last week's stakes preview. This week, we're going to concentrate a little bit on Gulfstream because they have 4 nice graded stakes coming up on Saturday. So we'll take a look at all of those. And why don't we kick things off with the what'll be the 4th race on Saturday at Gulfstream, the Rampart Grade 3 event for the fillies and mares going the 1-turn mile. I'll set you up, Mike, because I know you have a replay here of Sally's Curlin going back a little bit earlier this year at Gulfstream. So why don't you take it away?
Yeah, we'll go back to her winning performance 4 starts back in the Grade 3 Hurricane Birdie. We're going to see the replay here and how the race plays out in the Hurricane Birdie. There was a strong pace going 7 furlongs, and she comes from out of the clouds. I expect, taking a look at this Rampart, there's a lot of speed in here. You're going to have Latruska, who's going to attract a lot of attention, the 5 in here, who's 2-1 on the morning line. It's going to be one of those situations where Latruska goes to the lead, Buying Girl, who's the 2 in here. I think they may end up hooking up early. You also have some speed from Crumbun and also Dream Marie. But when you're taking a look at this race, I expect the pace to be hot. If that's the setup that you're going to get, I think Sally's turn, when we take a look at the Hurricane Birdie, is going to have a tremendous trip in here, likes the distance 4 for 5, and the price is going to be attractive, 3-1 on the morning line. I think may drift up in here. So again, the more pace, the better for me with my top choice, Sally's Curlin, underneath Latruska. You go back to any of the races, 2-4 back, when this horse was like to be on the front end, did it at multiple distances, 7 furlongs, mile and an eighth. So the distance shouldn't be a concern. It's just how much applied pressure is going to be there. Now, you like to have the outside post being the 5 post compared to some inside speed. So maybe they can sort of dictate their own terms. But obviously this horse is going to be forwardly placed and is one to consider in here as well. And then Dream Marie was a horse last time that buried a weaker field, going to go back into graded stakes company. Has a couple victories at Gulfstream. And again, if you're looking for some value in here at 5-1, I expect this horse to drift up as well. And if you're a tribe player with some horses in here, I expect to be gasping for air late. Dream Marie could definitely round out some of the exotics. So 3, 5, 6, and 1 for me in the Grade 3 Rampart.
Yeah, I put Latruska on top because I think Bajan Girl certainly has early speed, but I think Latruska is going to be the speed of the speed. And cutting back from a couple mile and an eighth stakes races to the 1-turn mile, 2 for 2 at Gulfstream, 2 for 3 at the mile distance. We're going to go back and look at her winning at a mile and an eighth at Saratoga back on August 30th. This is the Shoe V. And Latruska in here is going to be the number 3 horse, getting it done on the front end all the way around. And she followed that up with a race in the Beldame, the 1-turn mile and an eighth down at Belmont, and had the lead there before fading a little bit. But I think this 1-turn mile at Gulfstream, again, given her record at Gulfstream, is going to really suit her. And that early speed, that we saw here in this race, and putting up a nice graded stakes race at Saratoga on her resume, and seeing the way she does it down the stretch here, holding them off. Chart margin winds up to be a length at the end, but I don't know whether you really ever were sweating it out. She did it pretty easily on the front end. So I like the 2 mile and an eighth races, to the cutback today, to the 1-turn mile down there. And as I say, I think she is going to be the speed of the speed. So I went with her on top. I have it 5, 2, 3, and 6. Bajan Girl is the other speed. Sally's Curlin, again, like you say, if it does fall apart, that may be the one that does pick up the pieces, and Dream Marie underneath those. But I'll look for Latruska to potentially steal it on the front end. We'll see how that thought works out. Then we'll turn the page to race number 6 on Saturday, the Sugar Swirl Grade 3 event. 6 furlongs is the trip. And these are the kind that you're not quite sure. And 5-2 on the morning line, I would like to get a little more value. 5-2 is favored on the morning line. Golden Ami comes down from Woodbine for Josie Carroll. Broke the maiden, however, back in March at Gulfstream. We're going to take a look, however, at the allowance race in November. The maiden breaker was back in March, then came back in November in a money allowance at Woodbine, and really just kind of validated, and more than validated, improved on the maiden breaker at Gulfstream earlier this year. This is Golden Ami, the number 4 horse in here, again, on the front end all the way around, and opening it up even in the stretch. This was a pretty good performance after a decent little maiden breaker as well. I think this horse took the break from March to November and seemed to get better. I think the 6 furlongs at Gulfstream is going to be right up her alley on Saturday. So I put her on top. But as I say, some of these others already have some stakes experience, which I think is very important. But Golden to Me may just be a really talented runner for Josie Carroll, like kind of one of those in the making horses. This is a horse with a belated debut. This is a 4-year-old, but maybe set up for a nice little 5-year-old season coming up, and then with some opportunities, I would think, down at Gulfstream after this, once the calendar page turns. So we'll root for Josie Carroll and Golden to Me. I have Cinnabunny in the second spot. Also has some speed up at Parks, moves into the barn of Brad Cox. Cinnabunny will take some action on the move into the Brad Cox barn, but I just think Golden to Me is a little bit better than that one. And Aunt Nadine also with some speed. So there's the potential there for maybe things to melt down on the front end. But from what we've seen so far from Golden to Me, I'll tilt in that direction, as they say. Just keep our fingers crossed. Maybe we have something special to keep our eyes on here with only the 2 starts so far. 3, 5, 6, and 2 for me in the Sugar Swirl.
Yeah, 1, 3, 5, and 2 for me. Like you said, there's the potential because everybody seems to want to go in this race. The one horse that's is going to be sitting off of it is Sound Machine, drawing the rail. You're going to get Jose Ortiz attracted to this horse. Now, of recent, the form's kind of been iffy. But again, it's really based on what you said. There looks to be a lot of speed. I expect there to be a quick pace. I expect there to be a lot of horses vying for position early. And usually that means you're using horse early. So on the potential, watching that replay of your top choice, though, Golden to Me, I mean, it wasn't even asked fully, going 114-4 for the 6.5. So that was an impressive performance. Have to believe that she'll be on the lead. Cinnabunny is interesting because the horse is going into the Brad Cox barn, and he does so well first time out with horses in his barn and drawing her at Ortiz. That horse is going to attract a lot of attention. Now, for me, I'd probably lean towards the 3, which is your top choice, but it is quite interesting, and the horse has a really good workout as well. But for me, it's all about some sort of pace meltdown in here. And Sound Machine, like I said, 2 and 3 starts back, weren't very good. Last time out, did put in a solid second-place finish. The workout since then on December 6th, first of 55, 46-1. Maybe the horse is just starting to round back into form. Likes Gulfstream Park, has been in the money in 4 career starts, including a couple of victories. So, again, hoping for a quick pace in here. The price is going to be right, 5-1 on the morning line. So hopefully we keep that there, but I'll use the 1 Sound Machine on top. Golden to Me underneath, 2 for 2. Going into Graded Stakes Company in here. Does face a little bit of a salty field in here, so we'll ultimately see how it plays out for Golden to Me. And then the 5 Cinnabunny in the 3rd spot. Another one that wants to be forwardly placed, looking for 3 in a row. Going into a new barn, obviously a very big barn in Brad Cox, and who's been unbelievable so far in 2020. See if he can finish it out strong. And then the 2 in the 4th spot, another one that wants to be forwardly placed. You like to see 7 for 11 as far as wins goes down at Gulfstream, so it seems to be a Gulfstream specialist. But of the speedsters in here, I'd be more attracted to the 3 and the 5, so ultimately I had to put Lady Island in the 4th spot. An interesting race. Only a 6-horse field, but there's a lot of ways you could go, and it's really going to have to – you're really going to have to see how the first couple furlongs play out to really know how the setup's going to happen in here. So 1, 3, 5, and 2 for me in the Sugar Swirl.
Yeah, and looking at those PPs for Ladies Island, the 2-horse, it still hurts. 2 races back up at Saratoga. I was playing in one of those weekend contests, and I needed this one at 4-1 to complete a really nice double that would have put me in a money position, and just got snapped late by Come Dancing in that one too. The honorable miss 2 races back goes out for our friends, the Matisse brothers and Rich Averill, Ladies Island. So I have that one down at the bottom of my mix as well. But I go back to that race 2 back and looking at the PP.
Yeah, it's always a little painful when you remember a horse in a personal scenario, but
stings.
But if you do use a horse, hopefully she can validate or a redemption.
Yeah,
redemption would be a nice redemption thing. So
all right, let's move on Saturday. The Harlans Holiday will be race number 9 on Saturday. Grade 3 event. It's a 1.16 miles. Interesting field in here. Fun field in here. I'm going to let you lead things off with a little look at Fat Man. I thought Totweege was interesting for Todd Pletcher, but take it away and talk a little bit about Fat Man in here.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at Fat Man's second place finish in the Gulfstream Mile back in February down at Gulfstream Park. Ultimately finished second to Mr. Freeze that day, and really was doing some of the best running late. Is going to be a horse coming on the outside. Mr. Freeze just takes the lead right now. Is going to be the horse coming through the middle. And when he's able to do so on the outside, the 3 there, he's really going toe-to-toe. He's just a couple lengths off of Mr. Freeze. He's clear by 5 lengths from some notable names, including Hog Creek Hustle. Ends up finishing 3rd in that race. Came back and won a couple starts after that. And I thought it was an encouraging effort. You go 3 starts back in the Fred Hooper Grade 3, got the job done, got a 101 buyer with the Ryder Ortiz Jr. aboard, and he's reunite with Irad 5-2 on the morning line. I expect this horse to be vying for favoritism, but again, that was back in February. Needed that race. Came off that long layoff in November. Ended up finishing 6th on the undercard of the Breeders' Cup that day. I thought it was an okay effort if you consider the fact the horse was coming off a really long layoff. Needed that race, ended up facing the likes of Sleepy Eyes Todd and also True Timber, who we just talked about winning the Cigar Mile last week. So I think Fat Man can definitely improve off that effort. The workout sense suggests this horse is getting a little bit more fit, and I'll use this horse on top at 5-2. Underneath, Tax, the number 1, who is your morning line favorite. The workouts have been tremendous, but again, what I was talking about with Fat Man, Tax is coming off a long layoff, has been seen since May. With a 5th place finish in the Oakland Handicap against By My Standard. But again, as a horse that was racing last year and on the Triple Crown Trail, put in some solid efforts, actually won the Jam Dandy against Tacitus last year. So again, a name that people are going to remember. The workouts have been pretty strong, so I expect this horse to be ready. We'll just see if maybe he needs a race in this spot, again, off that long layoff. And then the 7, going to go out for Todd Pletcher, looking for 4 in a row, stepping up into stakes company. Probably the alternative in here. Has the pedigree to like the stretch out. He's going to go from running 1-turn miles down at Gulfstream to running a mile and a 16th in here, but is out of Tapit, so you expect the longer the better. The workout pattern's been good. The form's been good, and it's been of recent comparative to the other 2 horses I've talked about. So, again, I think the odds, the morning line odds are kind of right in this spot. I think it's between those 3. If you are looking for a little bit of an alternative as far as odds goes, the 4 for me at 8-1, a horse that's looking for 3 in a row. Similar to my top 2 choices, it hasn't been seen since July, so a little bit of a question mark with the layoff in here, but does have 4 victories at Gulfstream and has been in the money 14 of 17. So again, if you're looking and you like to play those vertical wagers, exactas, tries, supers, look for the 4 Eye of a Jedi at 8-1 to kind of round out those type of wagers for me. So 2, 1, 7, and 4 for me in the Harlan Holiday.
Yeah, I have a 7, 2, 1, and 6. As I say, I thought Tontweed was kind of interesting, and I hope we get that 4-1 price. Now, has this horse lived up to the $2.5 million purchase price? No, because you move it into the barn of Todd Pletcher. You think by the 4th career start, when you paid that kind of money, you're already winning some graded stakes. But it seems like maybe they've taken their time with this horse, gone through conditions, and now they've taken a couple of months off and still working well over at Palm Beach Downs, maybe ready for this assignment. Gets a nice outside post position to attack from, but not too far outside to be a detriment going into that first turn. I think this horse is interesting. We're going to go back and look at the September 25th allowance event, the non-winners of 2 win. This was a pretty nice race. Buyer figure that probably is a little light as compared to what's going to be needed. I just think this horse being lightly raced and then set to come back off a little bit of a layoff has the potential to move forward significantly in here in a way that puts the numbers closer to what we've seen in the first few starts of the career as being a little bit light and getting to a number that compares with this group in here this afternoon. So Tontweed on top for me. Fat Man, I like Fat Man also in the 2nd spot. Certainly the last 2 Gulfstream races make this horse very, very dangerous. Tax in the 3rd spot, talented, as you say. Last year's Jim Dandy winner, has only had a couple of starts this year and hasn't been seen since May at Oakland. That layoff left me a little bit leery. And Math Wizard in the 3rd spot for me. And you would have to think some of these may be prepping for Pegasus. And given that, a horse like Tax, are we going to get the best
both
effort?
of you are we obviously think Tax is a contender. We're not sold on him at this point, but what a stat for Danny Gargan with this 180-day plus layoffs, 41%. I know it's a small sample of only 17 horses, but obviously he knows what he's doing with these type of long layoffs. Would not be shocked at all to see Tax run a huge race. No,
absolutely not. Talented runner, and I think I say it's a fun field in the Harlans Holiday. We wrap up the stakes action on Saturday at Gulfstream with the Fort Lauderdale. They are on the grass going 1 mile and an eighth. I have it 8, 10, 9, and 1. And the 8 is Spooky Channel. I just thought this race had a lot of speed to close into. Some like it. Hot Brown has speed. Doswell has his early speed. Factor this. Holiday certainly. And so we're going to go back and take a look at Spooky Channel, kind of coming from off the pace. Churchill Downs, May 23rd of this year. Spooky Channel is going to be the number 1 horse. Nice closing effort to get it done. That was 2 starts back. Hasn't been seen since the Manhattan in the early part of July. I'll trust that the horse is ready to roll, though. And if the horse is, as I say, I think there's some early speed. We see the number 1 Chicklet getting uncorked here and moving up and closing late. I'm hoping that's what happens again on Saturday with the early pace that seems inevitable in here with a number of horses. But you just never know. Sometimes horses go out there and the rest of the jockeys let them float along. We've all seen it. If that's the case, Holiday or Factor This could be those kind of players. Some like it. Hot Brown also at some early speed, but that one could kind of sit and stalk, has occasionally, maybe the first to pounce. I'll tell you, when the morning line came out, I also looked at Doswell, and at 20-1, the Barkley Tag Runner is at least worth a look, as is maybe Largent, Channel Cat at 15-1. This is a fun race, and I know you have a horse at a morning line price as well that you like, so talk a little bit about Tide of the Sea.
Yeah, I have it 7, 10, 2, and 1, and I like Tide of the Sea. He's kind of going to get lost in the shuffle here. We're going to take a look at his Keeneland race, going the 1.5 mile distance. He's going to be the 5. He takes him wire to wire. Now, this is where it's going to be a little bit tricky as far as trying to figure out the pace, because you're right. There's a lot of speed in here. Holiday is a horse that pretty much a mile specialist to go along with Factor This. Tide of the Sea likes to be on the front, but there's no way in the race that's coming up in the Fort Lauderdale that he's going to be able to go that fast. So I expect him to sit off. And there's a couple of races, if you dig a little bit deeper, where he sat just off of the speed. If he's able to in this spot, he has the potential, especially going this 1.8 miles, while a couple horses, many horses in this spot in the Fort Lauderdale are going to end up stretching out in this type of spot. He's cutting back from that 1.5 mile win, which we just saw as he crossed the wire first there in that allowance. Now, the water's going to get much deeper, and that's why you're seeing the 15-1 morning line. But you're going to get Jersey Joe Bravo aboard. Yes, he's been a little bit cold down at Gulfstream, but again, in this type of situation, you never want to leave out Mike Maker, who's unbelievable. It just seems time and time again, when he has multiple horses in here, you have to use them all, because I think a lot of attention is going to be attracted to some like a Hot Brown, who's 4-1 on the morning line, going to attract a lot of attention for him. But I would use both horses in here, and at 15, 20-1 that he potentially Tide of the Sea could be, he's done a lot of good running. Yes, it's been against weaker, but this is his first graded stakes test in this spot. So I wanted to give him a shot in here because his form's been very, very good, and I expect him to run a big race on Saturday. Underneath the 10, Holiday, he of the speedsters of the horse I want to use. He seems to be just a Gulfstream specialist. He's 3 for 3. His 3 best performances have all been down at Gulfstream Park. He just seems to wake up and is sort of a different horse down at Gulfstream. Not that he hasn't run well out of Florida, but he just seems to run a lot better down at that Gulfstream surface. So there is going to be a lot of speed, like you said, Seth. So yeah, hey, but drawing the outside post, maybe they're able to sort of dictate their own trip. Luis Sai is aboard, who's been aboard for the last 6. He's going to attract a lot of attention at 7-2. The 2 and the 1 underneath. Delaware is a horse I liked last time out in the Artie Schiller down at Aqueduct, and that's the last time we saw Delaware. He had every shot and every chance to win that day. He just ended up getting run down by Therapist and Valid Point. But the blinker's going to come off. Maybe Chad Brown saw something, maybe some sort of focusing issue or finishing issue with the blinkers coming off. Maybe that's a winning type move for him because he's been there each and every start. In his European form against some really good horses like Circus Maximus, like Line of Duty, he could easily wake up at 5-1, and you never want to leave out the combo of Red Ortiz Jr. and Chad Brown. So I had him in the third spot and some like Brown in the fourth spot. Very deep field. Like you said, you can make a case for everybody. I left out breaking the rules. I wanted to use him at 8-1. If you're spreading out in any pick fours or pick fives, this is a race you got to go pretty deep. And potentially, if you beat some of the favorites in here, you're going to get paid.
Yeah, so. Fun card, fun stakes card. There's another ungraded stakes on the card as well, the My Charmer. So on a fun stakes card Saturday at Gulfstream. Hopefully we gave you some good ideas. And if you're going to play through CapitalOTBBet.com. We'd love to have you jump on board and play along at CapitalOTBBet.com. Use all the bells and whistles. Free PPs are available. And you can watch and wager all day long on your devices and enjoy wagering and hopefully cashing some tickets as well. And Mike, why don't you update us on the
on the promo side? If you're new to Capital OTB and our wagering site CapitalOTB.com, there's the sign up bonus right there, which is available to new sign up members, where you can deposit $100, wager $200, and get $100 back. And again, that's as cut and dry as it is. There's no stipulations, and that's nice. So that's real money coming back into your pocket. So definitely want to sign up for an account if you're new to Capital OTB. Also on the promotion side, we have a ton of bonus days to go along with that. We have on Mondays and Tuesdays the Dark Day bonus. On Wednesdays, we have our Florida bonus with Tampa and Gulfstream, where if you wager $200, you can get a 1% bonus back. We also have the Gulfstream track bonus, which we're running right now, and you're seeing the Slate 4, where you get a $10 deposit back into your account if you're one of the top 25 highest wagering account holders on Gulfstream Park that specific day. So you definitely want to take advantage of that. We also have a host of other programs where we do OTB live bankrolls, where you've been able to hit Seth for some big amounts, and we do those through accounts where we're able to have account members be part of the team. And we have handicappers be part of that as well. We do them at the clubhouse, which you're seeing right there if you live in the capital region and you're watching us right now. But even if you don't, we do some that are online as well. But we also offer player rewards. We have tourney bets as well. So at Capital OTB, we really put the patron and the customer first. So definitely take advantage and take a look at CapitalOTBBet.com if you haven't already.
Very good. So that takes you through some of the stakes action down at Gulfstream on Saturday. Mike, good luck to you.
Good luck. Good luck to everybody as well.
Good luck to everybody out there. We will see you next time with the Capital OTB Stakes Preview.
You're watching Capital OTB TV. Wager at CapitalOTBBet.com for the most comprehensive wagering site and the best player rewards in New York State.